The accused arrived early at court, faces masked as usual, some with their prison bags already packed. A few showing open contempt for this trial. But the crowd here in Avignon and the forest of cameras were not here for the men. This trial has, in so many ways now, become all about this woman, Gizelle Pellico. Her face at least seemed serene this morning. The rape victim who refused to feel shame. Inside the crowded courtroom, the judge quickly got on with the business of the day. Verdicts first, then sentencing for all 51 men. Dominique Pellico sat quietly in his glass cage as the judge turned to address him.
The defendants will stand up in turn to hear the verdicts. Mr. Pellico first. The court finds him guilty of aggravated rape.
Inside the courtroom here, the verdicts have been coming at a furious pace. Guilty, guilty, guilty. Dominique Pellico has just stood up to be told that he will be sentenced to 20 years in prison, the maximum here in France for rape. He showed no emotion, nor did his former wife Gizelle, sitting quietly at the other side of the courtroom. Outside the courthouse, some people celebrated the news. But others were angry that many of the men got lighter sentences than anticipated. Shame, they shouted. Back inside, Dominique Pellico's lawyer told me her client was considering an appeal. I asked what his mood was like.
Fatalité.
Fatalistic, she replied, the way he's always been throughout the trial. And then, after a pause, Gizelle Pellico emerged to give her reaction.
It is with deep emotion that I speak to you today. This trial was a very difficult ordeal. I think, first of all, of my 3 children, David, Caroline and Florian. I also think of my grandchildren, because they are the future, and it's also for them that I have led this fight. I want to express my deepest gratitude to all the people who have supported me throughout this ordeal. I was overwhelmed by your support, and from it, I drew the strength to come back each day to face these long court hearings. I wanted to open the doors of this trial last September so that society could see what was happening. I have never regretted this decision. I have confidence now in our capacity, collectively, to find a better future in which men and women alike can live harmoniously together with respect and mutual understanding. Thank you.
It's half a century now since the Pellicos met and fell in love. She described him as a perfect husband. But at a supermarket in 2020, Dominique Pellico was caught in this footage filming up women's skirts. Police soon discovered computer files with other videos proving he'd been inviting dozens of strangers to rape his wife after he drugged her. In prison, he was assessed by a psychiatrist.
Mr. Pellico desired total control over his wife. He wanted to reduce her to an object, a possession to be used for his satisfaction. Then he could lend this object to other people. And to do all that, he needed to drug her.
And these were not his first crimes. DNA evidence soon proved Pellico had begun attacking women years earlier. He's being investigated for the 1991 rape and murder of Sophie Nahm, which he denies. He also took indecent images of his daughter Caroline, who was in court today along with her 2 brothers. She's convinced her father also raped her. This afternoon, Pellico and most of the other rapists were taken away to begin their sentences. Among them, firemen, a journalist, a nurse, all ages, 3/4 of them fathers. There was a moment of tension outside when one of the defense lawyers taunted the crowd, calling them hysterical, then swearing at them. Here comes Gizelle Pellico now, leaving the courthouse for the last time. She has achieved something quite extraordinary here. This courageous public stance, the impact of that will surely ripple through society here, perhaps for decades. She could, like most rape victims, have chosen to remain anonymous at the trial. Instead, listen to the reaction she now receives. She wanted to change attitudes, and perhaps she has. Rise up, they sing. And with that, Madame Pellico, engulfed by gratitude, walks on. Andrew Harding, BBC News, Avignon.